Da-da-da-da-da. Dun, 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 dun. What up, Cisco? What up, Cisco? I don't know about the Da Vinci Code, Homo, but I will give you some good codes. Got a couple of you guys in here. What's up, Derek? I've been getting a lot of requests to do some blueprint reading. I told the last gentleman I was speaking to, as soon as I get done with the last interviews, I'm gonna do a blueprint one before I do anything else. So give me a few seconds here and we'll get cracking. Nice. I think this will be good for anybody who just wants to know some basic blueprint reading. At least this one will start you off, and then eventually we'll get cracking to some more in-depth stuff where you can make a killing, you can make a living, man. All right, so let's get this thing going. You know how to read plans? Yeah, I do know how to read plans. That's what I do for a living, brother. I read plans. All right, so let's see what we got here. All right, man. Let's see where we're at here. What's going on, Playboys? Hold on. Let me hide that one off real quick. Let's not show you everything. How you guys doing out there? First and foremost, happy Memorial Day. You know, I got to represent. It's Memorial Day, and since, you know, they give so much to us, I'm going to try to give a little bit back today with... hopefully this is going to sound a little bit... No, it sounds a little squeaky on my end, but I'm sure you guys can hear it. I'm going to try to give you guys a little course here in basic blueprint reading. I've had people ask me, hey, Gil, can you do a blueprint one? I've been saying yes, and it's just, you know, time goes by, it gets a little time consuming, and today I felt was a perfect day. I had the day off. Nothing much to do other than hit the grill later on today, but for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the basic of blueprint reading, because when it comes to blueprints, it's something that you're just not going to be doing from one day to the next. And let me see. That's the plan we're going to be working off right now. Let me get this real quick. Now, when you guys usually go to any kind of job site, right? Let's get back to me real quick. When you go to any kind of job site, it's not any job site you go to, especially people who don't know construction and don't do concrete. Let's say you usually see a dirt pad, right? It's just a dirt pad. You got some fencing around it, and you see these things all the time. What those are there, those are survey marks. And what the survey marks do, pretty much, you see that 583.26? That tells me 583.26, which is almost, it's like 3 inch and maybe an eighth, right? And what that does is, let me go over here now. This is an architectural plan. That's what you're going to be working off. You're going to be working off architectural and structural. Architectural, you always hit them at the bottom of the corner down here. You see that A2? That means you're an architectural A2 sheet. Okay, so what architectural gives you, they give you all the dimensions, they give you all of the elevations. The architectural pretty much tells you where everything goes, at what elevation it goes, at what slope it goes. And these here, that 6 here, that's a grid line. You go a little bit to the left. That 5 there, that's a grid line. And they're telling you from grid line 6 to grid line 5 is 30 feet, 10 inches. And what those grid lines usually represent on these things here, those survey points, right? Those survey points, the surveyor will go out there and give you that grid line, because we can't just guess where this building goes. So those grid lines, they give you 1, they give you elevation. 2, they give you location. Those are very important on all the job sites, and you'll see them all over. So next time, if you never did construction or don't know much, next time you drive by a construction site, you're going to see a bunch of these flags, and these are very, very important, because this basically is telling us where this building goes and at what elevation it goes. Here we go. Let me see if I got some more on this survey. Like this one, it'll give you the property corner of the building, and it's very important you know where the corners of the building are, because if not, you're going to build this building, it's going to be off whatever it's going to be off, and then you know what, you might have to break this thing down, because in every city just about they have certain setbacks. So when you go to any house and you see how all the houses are 15 feet in, 10 feet in from the sidewalk, they're always certain feet away from the sidewalks and also certain feet from the side yards. But if you, the Da Vinci Code is this one, guys. Anybody who wants to start learning blueprints, right? This is something that is extremely important that you guys need to know. Let me show it to you. This is the code right here. Anytime I try to tell guys to learn about reading prints, reading elevations, this is it, man. This is exactly what the elevation sheet is. You see how when, let me go back to that one real quick. 1 second. Okay. You see how that one says 583.26? Like I said, to me, that tells me it's 583, 3 inch, and maybe an eighth. And how do I know that? Because if you go to this one, right there, look at the 0.25. 0.25 is 3 inches. What it is pretty much, it's a quarter of a foot. That's why 0.50 is 6 inches. This is something right here that once you're able to memorize it and know how to spit out those numbers very quick, you can make a killing, man. You can make a killing. This was the first thing I ever learned. You go, 0.08 is without looking, 0.08 is 1 inch, 0.16 is 2 inch, 0.25 is 3 inch, and 0.33 is 4, 0.50 is 6, 0.58 is 7, 0.67 is 8, so on and so on. You need to learn these numbers because these numbers are the elevations. What elevations am I talking about, people? Right there. Look at this. Give me a second. You see these elevations right here? You see that 99.46? That's an elevation that they're giving you. So if I get my trusty calculator out here and I go 99.46, because they're sloping a driveway right here, right? That driveway is going to slope down from a 99.46, they're giving you 20% slope, to a 92.31 minus 92.31. That gives you 7.15, which is 7 feet, almost 2 inches. And that's why I talk about when you want to learn those numbers are the key. And that's probably the hardest part that people have when it comes to doing these elevations and doing these dimensions, because those elevations are going to tell you at what height your footing has to be, at what height your slab has to be, at what height your deck has to be. It's all hugely important to know these numbers, guys. So if you guys can take a screenshot of this thing, know these numbers. If you want to know how to read blueprints, and this is structural concrete or just regular concrete right here. This is not electrical right now, but this is for construction as far as concrete, but you can also use this in framing. You can use this in steel. Anything that has any kind of elevation on it, you're going to use these numbers time and time again. So let's go back to this real quick. So what's going to go hand in hand are two things: the architectural plans and the structural plans. So take a good overview look at this, right? So when you're looking at this right now, imagine you're on top of a helicopter looking down and you're seeing through the building, because in reality, what we're looking at right now is this. Now we're looking at it sideways, right? This is the side of the building. This is a slab on grade. This is a parking lot going into the building, right? With this part being the structural deck. So let's go back. That's a side view. Let's go back and look at the top view again. Let's see if I got it right here. There you go. Now you're looking at the top view, but you're not seeing the top of the building. This is the subterranean parking. So they're giving you like this. Look. Again, we're in a helicopter. We're looking down, right? These are the columns. These are the parking spaces, small. The bottom one say C, that's compact. And look at these dimensions: 8'6", 8'8", 8'6". All these dimensions have to be pretty much precise. You can be about a ½ inch, a quarter inch off. There's no such thing as a perfect world, but these dimensions gotta be held pretty true, because these are the parking spaces. If between this column here and this column here, you're missing a foot, guess what? You're missing a parking space in the building, and you're gonna have problems. You're gonna be breaking stuff off. So again, we look over here, see all these grid lines, grid line 1, grid line 2. Those are those survey points. They're giving you, that's why you'll see in construction sites, these guys will put, and these guys, I mean myself, will put string lines across with batter boards that represent these lines. That way we know where these columns go. And then now let's go to the structural real quick. That way you see what I'm talking about. That's an architectural. This is the foundation. This is what I do. This is the bread and butter to what you're building. But what you notice in these foundations, again, they have the grid lines from grid line 6 to grid line 5. It's 30'10". But if you look all inside here, they're not giving you much. They're just giving you the pads, which are these. Okay, this is columns, right? The columns are the columns that hold the building. These are the pads. These we'll get into later on exactly how to read this. All this stuff means something. It's a schedule. A schedule means it's pretty much the cheat sheet of what size this column is. A C1 is a certain size. Let me see what else. Any C other ones over here? These are all C1 columns. C3s are going to be different size. Let me see if they have the schedule. Yeah, they do have the schedule on this plan, which is easy. Most of the time, you got to flip around and look at it. So in other words, if I'm looking at this column, right, you tell me, Gil, what size is this column? I say, look at the schedule. Well, what's the schedule say? Go down here. They'll tell me right here. Size of column. A C3 column is 12 by 24. A C1 is 12 inches by 30 inch. All these columns are a little bit different. Then they'll give you down here, that's the reinforcement. That's the type of rebar that's sticking out of this column. So for a C3, I'm only got 10 number 5s. For a C2, I got 12 number 5s. For a C1, I got 14 number 5s, which is actually pretty small rebar for these kind of columns, but that's just the way it is. You know, you don't question it. Engineers go to school for many years to figure out what this stuff goes. Another one you got here, F1. That's the size of the pad that this column is sitting on, right? So you go to F1 now, and they have different ones. Look, F2. That way when you go to lay these things out and you go to dig them, you can sit there and know what size they are. Here we go. F1 column, 12'6" by 12'6". It's and 24 inches thick. That's how thick that actual concrete has to be in those columns. You go to F2. It's an 8'6". It's a smaller pad. A little less concrete, 18 inches. These are all schedules. Everything on this thing pretty much gives you some type of information, but what they don't really give you too much is dimensions. Let me see here. So for this one here, you got the grid line 3. You come down grid line 3. That would be the center of these columns here. But even when you have the dimensions on the structurals, I will always, even though you have it here, like 4'2", I will always still refer to the architecturals, because if you don't refer to the architecturals, you may get caught slipping. And these, like I said, these are the architectural. It's the same exact layout, but it's giving you dimensions, elevations, what's going on. You come in here, it'll tell you, here you go. This is what it is. You're coming in from the driveway, right? Come on, let's go. You drive in here, you drive into your driveway, let's say, you get a small compact car, boom, you're parking in here, right? And you come up here, this is gonna be probably the handicap route, because every apartment has to have some kind of handicap route. Trash room, electrical room, recycle. Then this is your elevator up here to go out. These are probably the stairs to get in and out. You got a bicycle place. I mean, it gives you just about everything you need to know. But even then, these guys still miss a couple of things, and that's just how it is. And these are, here we go. Let me see. See, from this wall to this wall is 7 feet. So if I'm looking at the structural, you see, look, the structure's right here. How do I know what dimension this wall from this wall is? You go to the architectural. This is a structural. Every structural plan starts off with an S. There'll be a couple weird ones that'll do like a WWS, but usually it's S1, S2, S3, and so on and so on. And the same thing with architecturals, A1, A2, and so on and so on. And these are the foundation notes, man. This will tell you something about the soils. It'll tell you what PSI the concrete is. Like for this one, the number 5, concrete working stress design, they want a 2,500 PSI, 28 days. Usually the decks will be maybe like at least 3,000 to 4,000. And this is all stuff that eventually, once you get into it, you'll know what it means. But it'll be too quick to sit there and try to get into all this stuff here. Here you got S13. Let me see if I can find that one here. Okay, so let's say I'm here, right? This is a 8-inch shotcrete wall. With shotcrete wall is just a pneumatic concrete. You place it with air, let's say, right? I know it's a 4-foot wide footing, but what kind of rebar goes in here? I don't know. But you see this right here? This is what it's telling you. It's almost like a video game when it's telling you, all right, dude, you're going to go. They say 13 on S1. I say 1 on S13. So let's go to that one. So you go to page S13, and now you go to 1. Where is 1? Where is 1? Here is 1. All right, guys. This is that 4-foot footing that we were just looking at, right? And this tells you what it is. This is your 8-inch shotcrete wall right here. The 8-inch shotcrete wall has number 6 rebars at 8 inches on center. What that says is the size diameter of this rebar is a number 6, and that again we can get into later if you don't understand. Every size of rebar is pretty much by an 8. So number 6 is 6/8 will be I believe 3/4. Number 5 will be 5/8, but we usually just call it by the numbers. So that tells me that this rebar here goes every 8 inches on center, which is a number 6 vertical. And number 4, 12 horizontal. The horizontal are these little guys right here. These ones will go 12 inches on center. The foundation is telling me they want to pad down here. Number 6, 8 inches on center dowels, typical. So pretty much it is. Whatever's in the foundation is in the wall. So we're putting these here, and you got these bottom bars also. I believe the horizontals are going to be the same thing. Oh, no, here we go. 4 foot by 18 continuous footing with 6 number 4s continuous. So you just got number 4s and the horizontals down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Usually you don't want to count those numbers, but that's what it is. These go the long way. These are the ones that go to the transbar, which actually be your dowel sticking up. But okay, so take a good look at this right now, right? You got the 4 feet, you got the wall. And now when we're looking at this right now, we're looking at it like if we cut it in half and we're looking at it at a side view. That way we can actually see. We're no longer in the helicopter. We're looking like we cut a loaf of bread in half, we opened it up, and now we're looking what's inside. And that's representing, that is, here you go. This is the 4 feet coming out. This is the wall and the vertical. And this will be the slab. So let's go again and see. There you go. That's the wall across right here. That's the 4 feet of the footings, the spread footing coming out. And see, this will just give you that 4 feet, and the rest, you got to go to these what details, what we call them. So here we got another detail. This one is for that, it's either the trash enclosure or one of those rooms, right? This to me represents a masonry wall, or they can do them shotcrete. How do I know how wide the footing is? 24 inches. But what else? They're not telling me what I need. So I need to go to 4 and S13. So we flip the pages. Usually you'll flip pages, but I'm on the computer. Flip the pages, 4 and S13. All right, guys, just look at that thing. Look at the wall. This is, when you're looking at this, you're in a helicopter looking from the top down. Now we're gonna cut it. We're gonna cut it. It's like we're cutting it right here. That's what this pretty much means. We're gonna cut it and we're gonna look at it in a side profile to see what's going on. So 4 and S13. Here it is. Here's the 4 S13. All right. You got the 4 and S13. This is representing the masonry wall, but on the other page, we're looking at it from a helicopter view. Now we're looking at it from a side view. It's giving me the 2 feet, 3-inch clearance. You always got to have 3-inch clearance against dirt when it comes to rebar. And here's what it's telling me, the scoops. It's telling me this is a 2 feet by 18-inch continuous footing with 4 number 4s. Number 6 dowels at 6 inches on center. Hold on, let me go over here real quick. Make sure you guys are done. All right. We're talking. Okay, hold on. Glad you guys can hear. All right, so this right here is that 24-inch footing, right? 24-inch wide, continuous footing. Then you go back up here, and now this is going to tell you, give you some more details. It's telling you it is an 8-inch block wall, all right? This is represent an 8-inch block wall, and that block wall has number 6 at 16 inches on center vertical. That's pretty heavy for a masonry wall, but that's what it is. And number 4, 24 inches on center horizontal. These are the horizontal bars. Horizontal, for anyone who doesn't know, it means it goes sideways. The verticals obviously go up and down, but it's maybe obvious to me, but obvious to many, but to some it's not. So that's what it's telling me. It's telling me that this block wall that is 8 inches thick will have number 6, 16 inches on center vertical, which is up and down, and have the number 4, 24 inches on center horizontal. Here you go. With inspection typical. You got to always have a deputy out there when they're doing it. But they're also giving you some more stuff they need. They need these dowels right here. I think they're going into the slab. 24-inch by 8-inch dowels, 24 inches on center, alternate typically. So I don't know if these ones, it looks like I think they're going to this. Yeah, they're going from the slab in and out to connect to the slab. So let's go back again. Looking at it from a side view, cutting it open. Now let's look at it from the helicopter again, right? Boom, we're back in the helicopter. This is that wall we were just looking at, guys. It's giving me the detail of what's going on over here, right? So now let's come up here. Same thing, we got another one. We got the wall here. I'm assuming it's 4 feet because that's what it's been typically. But then again, you never assume. So what do? We go to 10 and S13, right? So we go down, go to S13. That's S13. Yes, it is. And now we go to 10. And here we go. Now we're looking at, again, side view. It is 4 feet wide. It's the same thing as the other one. 4 feet by 18-inch continuous footing with 6 number 4 continuous at the bottom. These are the number 4s continuous at the bottom horizontal. And this bar here is the number 6 going up that's going to attach to the wall, to this wall here. All right. And it's the same thing. But this one's a masonry wall, 8-inch CMU wall with number 6s, 8-inch on center vertically, number 4, 16 on center with inspection. All right. So here we go. So that's how you start looking at the walls and all that stuff. And then, okay, here. So here we have a huge slope, right? That was that area from the driveway. You're coming in and you're coming out here. So you can't have these footings at the same height over here as you would down here, because then your footing is going to be higher than your driveway. So then what you do, they're giving you a typical step detail right here. And let's go see what they're looking for. It's 13.6. Here we go. This is your detail coming down when you're stepping a footing. And this might be a little bit advanced. We'll get into that later on when we start getting into elevations and all the survey points. Like I said, this is just a basic overview to try to somewhat make sense of what this, how you read plans, how you read the architecturals. And let's go back to these columns real quick. I'm going to show you something. All right. C1 column, right? That means this column is a C1. These are C3. And again, we're going to go back to the schedule. They're 12 by 24, 12 by 30. Well, now we got a nice view we can look at. Let's look at a C1, right? 12 by 30, and it has 14 number 5s. And here's the C1. We're looking at it from a helicopter, but they cut it so we can see it. So now we're looking at the top of this column. That's this right here represents this big guy right here. See it? That's this column, but they're cutting it so you can see what you got. You got the bars here. I think they said 15, so you got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, 15 right there, bars. These are ties. Number 3 ties in the center, and these are stirrups here too. So this is what your column should look like once you got it all tied up. But you got to make sure the elevation is right. That way the dowels aren't sticking above the deck. It all comes back down to elevations. But they're giving you the information. A C2, which is one of these bad boys right here. Let me see where we at. C2's in the house. C2's in the house. I see C1s. I see C3s. There's got to be C2. I can't find it, but there's got to be C2 somewhere. There's a C4, but then sometimes there's not. I don't see any C2s. Oh, well. We got C1, C3. This one doesn't say anything. So this kind of stuff here, you can kind of scale it, but me personally, I asked the engineer, hey, man, see like how this one has C3, C1s? This has nothing on it. So this kind of stuff, you're going to get an RFI, which is a request for information, ask the engineer, have them give you something. Now, let me give you guys a couple. Let me see if I can find some cut sheets on this thing. These are the framing. This is the deck. These are the columns. These are the columns right here. And this looks like it's tying into some type of grade beam in the deck. And like I said, that's getting more into the job. And here you go. These are the walls. This is where you get the coil joint. You connect into a 12-inch concrete deck, which a lot of them are 12-inch concrete decks. It's a lot of stuff. I know it may be intimidating when you first. Let me get back out of here. It may be intimidating when you guys first see it and never done it, right? But like anything else, man, practice makes perfect. And again, if you're busted home and you're watching this, look at those numbers, man. Remember those numbers. Those numbers will make you a lot of money if you learn them, dude. That's what it's about. It's about learning it. You're not going to sit here overnight, just like a boxer's not going to become a professional fighter one day and the next thing he's a champion of the world. It doesn't work like that. You got to put in that work. And the same thing happens with construction, with reading blueprints, with any kind of life we're living. So these are the numbers you guys should be aware of. Let me see where's my players at. And that's what it is, people. That's kind of the basic of it. What's up, Nunez? How we doing? Let me see where you guys are at. There I am, trying to get in. Okay, so that's basically what it is for right now. I do structural concrete. I do this stuff for a living. I've been doing it since 99. So shit, I got 21, 22 years in, right? And even now, I'm still trying to learn it. It's not something that you're just gonna know off the back. There's always stuff that's changing. There's always new codes and all kind of stuff. So that's what it is, people. So this is part 1 of a basic blueprint reading course. I'm gonna try to do some more. Hopefully you guys that are at least interested, I will eventually probably post some stuff where it's unlisted. You guys go and check it out. But this is what it is, man. This is the blueprint reading course. This is my first one. Other than that, guys, I'm about to get ready to do my thing. I hope you guys are having a great and safe weekend. And I'm going to catch you guys later, Playboys. And spread the knowledge.